Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. On today's episode, I will be covering a historical fire that took place in the city of Los Angeles, California. This incident occurred on April 29th, 1986, in the LA Central Library. It was one of the most challenging structure fires in the history of the Los Angeles City Fire Department. The Los Angeles Central Library, also known as the LA Public Library, is the third largest public library in the United States in terms of book and periodical holdings. It was originally constructed in 1926 by Richard Riordan. This devastating outbreak occurred at 630 West 5th Street. The fire required a maximum commitment of department resources, including 60 firefighting companies, 1 arson unit, 9 paramedic rescue companies, 3 helicopters, 4 salvage companies, 1 squad, 2 emergency air units, a heavy utility company, and over 40 staff and support personnel, for a total of almost 350 firefighters. Approximately 45% of the on-duty fire department resources were committed to this fire. In addition, 6 mutual aid companies from the Los Angeles County were used to fill vacant stations until fire prevention companies were able to relieve them. 5 private ambulance companies and a hospital emergency response team from USC assisted the medical division in care and treatment for injured firefighters. 50 fire department members were treated for injuries, with 28 of them being assisted to medical facilities. Fortunately, there were no deaths or critical injuries, and only 1 minor civilian injury. An estimated total loss of $2 million to the structure and $20 million to the contents of the fire occurred. The more important fact is that 85% of the total value of the structure and contents were saved. The recognition and implementation of salvage opportunities early in the fire helped prevent the loss from being any larger than it already was. Out of over 1.2 million books that were in the library at the time of the fire, only 350,000 of them received any fire or water damage. According to the Los Angeles Fire Department historical account, the fire took 7 hours and 38 minutes to suppress and another 2 days to completely quell. The disaster that took only moments to set in motion took over 6 years to recover from. It all started at 10:52 a.m. when the library operator notified the fire department that the library's smoke detection alarm had been activated. The fire department was on scene at 10:57 a.m. All in all, only 5 minutes had passed between the activation of the alarm and the arrival of the fire department. 22 minutes later, at 11:14 a.m., firefighters started to attack using hose lines. While some firefighters attacked the blaze, others covered books in stacks with plastic to protect them from water cascading down through the tiers. Lack of ventilation in stacks superheated the fire early on to temperatures that the LAFD classified as 2,000 degrees and 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, making it impossible for firefighters to enter through the northeast stack despite their full protective gear. At 2:20 p.m., the LAFD stopped the spread of the fire into the southeast stack. At 3:30 p.m., the decision was made to start jackhammering holes for ventilation. Meanwhile, salvage efforts continued to cover shelves in plastic, and they started to lay sawdust to direct the water flow out of the building. After the fire, they attempted to freeze the books to try to salvage them from any water damage that may have occurred. When the work of putting out the fire was over, the task management really started to begin. Thousands of volunteers in hard hats put their hard work together to make the city back to what it used to be and to help the library become what it once was. Fire is perhaps one of the most damaging disasters that could take place in a library, not only because of the fire damage, but because of the water damage as well. The contents of the building get seriously damaged, as well as the building itself. Although the fire had just been put out, the investigation was just beginning. Investigators were able to conclude that the fire was triggered by an arsonist. Since the day of the fire, the Los Angeles City has rallied together to prevent a disaster like this from ever occurring again. They have made many changes in the LA Central Library, including fire protection systems such as sprinkler systems and fire-rated doors, as well as exits and alarm and detection devices. Librarians still debate if whether sprinkler systems should be installed in libraries. Studies have shown that the water from the sprinkler heads is less damaging than the water from the fire hoses. Over 100 security cameras have been installed in the Los Angeles Central Library to prevent future disasters like this from ever occurring again. Alright, well that just about wraps up today's segment on the LA Central Library fire. I hope you all enjoyed the segment and learned some valuable information.